Look at this plane, the Boeing 777X. It is a masterpiece of engineering, with its massive folding wingtips and the largest jet engines in history. It was supposed to be the new king of the skies. It was built to replace the legendary 747 and change aviation forever. But there is a problem, a big one. Instead of carrying passengers around the world, these giants are sitting in a hangar, gathering dust. Why? Because in August 2024, the dream turned into a nightmare. It happened during a routine inspection. Engineers were checking the test planes after the flight in Hawaii. They weren't expecting to find anything serious, but then they saw it, a crack. This wasn't just a scratch on the paint. The crack was found in a critical part called the thrust link, a heavy metal component that helps attach those massive engines to the wing. Immediately, Boeing had to make a tough call. Ground the entire test fleet. No more flying, no more testing. Everything stopped. This isn't just another delay in a project that is already 5 years late. This is a major structural failure. So how did the most advanced plane in the world end up broken on the ground? Let's dive into the disaster. Anatomy of a breakdown. When you hear crack structure, you probably imagine a wing snapping in half like a dry twig. Thankfully, that is not what happened there. The carbon fiber wings themselves are fine. The problem is hidden under the wing, right where the engine connects to the plane. The broken part is called a thrust link. Think of it in this way. The engine is a monster that generates incredible power to pull the plane forward. It needs a very strong connection to transfer that power to the body of the aircraft. That connection is the thrust link. It acts like a massive titanium joint or a heavy-duty arm. Its only job is to push the plane throughout the air. So, here is the scary question. If this link breaks in the sky, does the engine fall off? The short answer is no. Aviation safety is built on a principle called redundancy. If one part fails, another part is ready to catch the load. The engine has multiple attachment points, so even with a snapped thrust link, the engine would stay on the wing and the pilots could land safely. But don't relax just yet. While the engine won't fall off, this is still a catastrophe for Boeing. Why? Because this is a brand new plane. Heavy metal parts usually crack after 20 years of flying, not during a few test flights. This is what engineers call a structural failure. It means the calculations were wrong. Either the metal material was too weak, or the vibrations from the engine were much stronger than Boeing expected. And you cannot fix bad mass with tape. You have to redesign the solution. The curse of GE9X engines. To understand why parts are cracking, we need to look at the beast causing all the stress. Meet the General Electric GE9X. This is not just an engine, it's a monster. It's officially the largest jet engine in history. To give you an idea of the scale, the front fan is so wide that you could fit the entire body of the Boeing 737 inside it. Yes, you heard that right. A whole other plane fits inside this engine. But is it possible to be too powerful? The problems with the GE9X didn't start in 2024. The curse began back in 2019, before the 777X even took its first flight. During ground testing, engineers noticed something alarming. The compressor blades inside the engines were wearing out incredibly fast. They were overheating and deteriorating. Essentially, the engine was hurting itself just by running. General Electric had to redesign these complex parts, which delayed the first flight for a long time. Now, seeing the structural cracks in 2024, it raises a difficult question. Is this engine simply too strong for the plane? It feels like the 777X is operating on the absolute edge of what is physically possible, and the stress is tearing it apart. Innovation or unnecessary risks? But the engine isn't the only thing pushing the limits of physics. Let's look at the wings. To make the 777X efficient, Boeing gave it a massive wingspan of over 71 meters. These long, slender wings are great for aerodynamics. They create amazing lift and save a lot of fuel. But there is a practical problem. The plane is simply too wide. It physically cannot fit into standard airport gates. So Boeing came up with a radical solution. They added a hinge. It is the first commercial jet in the world with folding wingtips. After the plane lands, the pilot flips a switch, and the ends of the wings, about 3.5 meters of them, fold up vertically. It looks like a transformer robot. This clever trick allows this giant to park in the same spots as smaller aircraft. It is an engineering marvel. But ask any mechanic, the more moving parts you have, the more things can break. This mechanism requires complex latches, locks and heavy pins to keep the wings straight during flight. If you look at the recent cracks in the engine mounts, you have to wonder about the wings too. By adding this folding system, did Boeing introduce yet another point of failure? It is a brilliant innovation, but in a project already plagued by structural issues, complexity is a dangerous game. The shadow of the predecessor. Now we have to address the elephant in the room, the ghost that haunts Boeing. When people hear about these problems, they immediately ask one question: is this the next 737 MAX? It is a fair question. The tragedies of the 737 MAX destroyed Boeing's reputation. People became afraid to fly. But it is important to understand that these are two very different situations. The 737 MAX disaster was caused by a software. A hidden computer program called MCAS pushed the plane's nose down, and pilots couldn't fight it. It was a digital trap. The 777X problem is different. It is not software, it is hardware. It is metal and physics. A structural failure like a cracked truss link is a classic mechanical issue. In a way, this is better, because you can see it, touch it and fix it, before anyone gets hurt. However, there is a deeper problem that links both planes – trust. The crack in the 777X was found after the plane had already flown for over 100 hours. Critics argue that this points to the same old problem at Boeing – a broken safety culture. Is the company still trying to rush production? Are they cutting corners to save money? When a passenger steps onto a plane, they don't care if the problem is software or hardware. They just want to know that the company built it right. And right now, Boeing is struggling to prove that they still know how to do that. The economics divide. While engineers try to fix the metal, Boeing's accountants are facing a different kind of a disaster. Time is money, and the 777X is burning billions of dollars. The airlines that ordered this plane are running out of patience. Take Emirates, for example. They are the biggest customer for the 777X. Their president, Tim Clark, has been waiting for this jet since 2020. He isn't just annoyed, he is furious. He has openly criticized Boeing, calling the delays unacceptable. When your most loyal customers start shouting at you in public, you know you are in trouble. But the real danger isn't just angry words, it is the competition. While the 777X sits broken in a hangar, its rival is already flying high above it. The Airbus A350-1000. The Airbus might be slightly smaller, but it has one huge advantage – it works. It is reliable, efficient, and available right now. Airlines hate uncertainty. They need to plan their schedules years in advance. Why would they wait for a maybe from Boeing when they can buy a guarantee from Airbus? If the 777X doesn't fly soon, it risks arriving at the party after everyone has already gone home. By 2027, will anyone still need this plane? Or will the Airbus A350 have already won the war? So the final question remains: when will you actually be able to buy a ticket? The original plan was 2020. That deadline is ancient history. Right now, the most optimistic forecast is 2027. And even that depends on how fast they can redesign the broken parts and convince the regulators. But when it finally arrives at your airport gate, should you be afraid to step inside? Here is the ironic truth. This disaster might actually make the plane safer. The FAA regulators are under immense pressure. They aren't going to sign any papers until they are 100% sure. They are watching Boeing like a hawk. Every crack, every vibration, and every bolt is being analyzed with a microscope. Because of these delays and failures, the 777X is going through the toughest certification process in aviation history. Paradoxically, by the time it carries passengers, it might be the most tested and verified aircraft ever built. It has the potential to be the safest king of the skies, if Boeing can survive long enough to finally get it off the ground. So, I have to ask, would you feel safe flying on the 777X in 2027? Or would you stick to Airbus? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. This is a new channel, but I put a lot of effort into every video to make it clear, accurate, and worth your time. Now check out this video next. I think you will find it fascinating. Thanks for watching, and see you in the sky!